Okay, this is persuasive speaking, and it's chapter 17, me and Aiden. So the nature of persuasion can be traced back to the roots of ancient Greece, and it was used to debate about public issues. The next is persuasion speech goals. So the overall goals of persuasive speech is clearly picking a side and being declarative and stating which side you think is best. Although there are different types of logical arguments that you'll make when doing persuasive speeches, you must choose one side where you use a sign where you support a claim of evidence. You use examples. You can use analogies, such as a comparative example, and a causation where you can cite events. It's always great to build some good credibility when you are doing a persuasive argument. So some good characters you can use when you're doing your speech is goodwill, empathy, and relevance, and responsiveness. Relevance is something that I added personally. So conveying competence and credibility, which is something that I touched on a little bit last slide. Terminal credibility is the audience's perception of your expertise at the end of the speech, and initial is at the beginning. So you want to establish both. I personally think that terminal credibility is more effective just because your call of action will persuade others more. So some evoking negative emotions that you can evoke during your speech. So things like fear, guilt, shame, anger, and sadness will evoke your audience. And then some positive emotions are happiness, pride, hope, compassion, and relief. So in your statement of reasons, you want your strongest reason to be last, and your second strongest to be first, and then all of your other reasons to be in between. This chronological order matters a lot because you want your audience to see a strong argument, but then also finishing on the strong argument, because when you finish with something, people are going to remember it more. So some comparative advantages. I'm not sure if many of y'all take econ, but comparative advantage basically means that you want to have something more value than something else. So, for example, the visual right here is like eating cake rather than an apple, because cake is a lot yummier than an apple. I don't know if many people agree on that, but a cake has more appeal than an apple, and you want your comparative advantage. You want to address both subjects and explain why the cake has a comparative advantage, and recognize that the apple is an option, but because the cake is better, that you want to choose the cake. So some criteria satisfaction. It seeks agreement on what should be considered when picking a side. So listing out a lot of the criteria of both arguments will definitely strengthen your persuasive argument, and it would also set you up for a refutative. It ranges main points according to what opposing arguments, and it bolsters your own side. So recognizing that the other side is valid, but also making sure that you're explaining why your side is even better. This bolsters your credibility immediately, and just gives you overall a one-up on the other side, and gives your side a little bit of a nuance. And then the problem solution and the problem cause solution. So the difference between the problem cause solution and the problem solution. So the problem cause solution, it isolates the main point that explains how to alleviate the causes. It's like a call to action, basically. So a problem solution just identifies a problem and a solution, but a problem cause solution goes into the problem, why it's a problem, what causes the problem, and the solution to alleviate the cause. So it dives a little bit deeper and gets a little bit more specific. And then a motivated sequence, obviously, is the end of your speech, and it's more of a call to action. And it says right here, Explicit appeals designed to motivate the audience to act. So, action is needed at the end of a speech, and that is it.